Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another live stream, another daily live stream. I've actually been streaming since Sunday. So this is new, huh? Feels pretty good. Feels really good to be accountable, if anything. Before I begin, if you want your name at the beginning of the intro, you can be part of the Finally Fasting fam. You can find a link in the description there. Thank you to all my Finally Fasting fam members. I appreciate you. You can also click the join button. It's just a way to support if that might be helpful for you. Not helpful for you. It's helpful for me. It helps support me if you want to help in that way. Before I begin, Mrs. Angeles, Joy, Aisha, Adrian, Josh, Sheila, hello, welcome. Before I get into the meat of what I want to talk about, Sheila says here, I've been fighting sickness all month and feel I haven't fasted enough, but also trying to give myself some grace during this time, even though I haven't reached my goal yet. And I'm just going to say this. I appreciate you sharing with us, but at the same time, it is important to give yourself grace. Anybody who's watching this, it's important to give yourself grace. But I think on top of that, just knowing that you're still here and you're still being accountable says a lot. I say that from personal experience. I say that from knowing that we are all going to have good and bad days, and the practice of imperfect consistency, literally what I put in the title here, is going to get you to where you need to be, because you are not only showing up for yourself when you do well, but you're showing up for yourself even during the bad days, the hard days, the days that you'd rather not show up. Spike, how's it going? I see you there. Welcome, welcome. So today is day 635 of, that is not the shot I wanted to put. That's for later. But today is, I don't know why it acts weird sometimes. Today is day 635 of my fasting journey, my health and wellness journey. Happy August to everyone. I just realized it's August 1st. Maybe August, well, no, it's probably August 1st to almost everyone right now. Yeah, maybe August 2nd to others. But today's the first of the month. I don't know if any of you are in chat right now or anybody who watches this later. Is today your day number 1? Did you tell yourself, I'm starting on the first of the month? If so, you have all my support. But my hope is, if you are starting today, this is the last time you start. And instead, you practice imperfect consistency and you keep pushing on in your journey. I have been doing these daily live streams for the pure fact of showing accountability in my actions, in making sure that I am not straying away, that I am on my game doing what I need to do. Showing accountability this way is one of my tools, one of my, I guess, methods that I use to help me make sure that I am fasting and I am eating well and I am exercising. It's just a way to keep me in check. If this is helpful for you, I've seen people share in the comments how they're doing. I see people put in, not the comments, but in the live stream how they're doing, but also in the comments after these live streams end, just to share where they're at or how they're feeling. Like I said, whether it's good or bad, let this be a place for you to share if it is helpful for you. Show accountability today. I mean, for many of us, it's just taking that first step of moving forward. When it comes to that accountability, and I have been doing this pretty much on a daily basis, what happened Why am I doing these daily live streams? Well, because for me, I ended up really slipping. I gained about 30 pounds in 5 weeks, pushing from 140 to about 170. And how did that happen? I went to Toronto, pretty much ate whatever for about a week. And then a week after that, had about 6 days of back to back mindless eating days. And then most recently, I went about a week straight continuing that mindless eating and then finding myself binging for 2 days after that. Just a really tough place to be in. And I had mentioned that a lot of that was because I felt overwhelmed, emotionally eating, stress eating, comfort eating, essentially using food as a way to avoid the things that I need to do to take care of myself, using avoidant behavior. And this is something that has been plaguing me pretty much my entire life. When it comes to stress, when it comes to feeling overwhelmed, food has always been the answer. And after 624 days of this journey, I finally succumbed to binging for 2 days in a row. But luckily, because I have been practicing imperfect consistency, because just like Sheila talked about giving herself grace, I've also realized that it is important to give yourself grace and not just beat yourself up doing this all or nothing type of thing. And here I am, just getting back in the saddle, doing what I need to do. I have mentioned this, but I am moving. Actually, in less than a month, I will be out of this apartment. So enjoy it while it lasts. I'm sure you don't care. But if anything starts to like disappear behind me, you'll understand why. I'm going to be moving out of the country, but I won't be moving out of the country until later this year. So in the interim, I will probably be live streaming from different places when I figure out exactly where I'm going to be. But it is one of the reasons I found myself overeating, because I had a laundry list of things to do. And instead of taking care of them, instead of practicing imperfect consistency and doing little things here and there, I decided that I would just eat instead all day, every day, and push things to the side. So let's go ahead and let's share some of these nerd stats. What have I been doing? Fasting, obviously. I had started close to almost 170 pounds after binging 2 days in a row, and I got myself back doing ADF. Completed 43-hour fasts, a 44-hour fast, a 46-hour fast, and my weight has dropped after ADF after ADF after ADF, going from almost 170 pounds. And then a couple of days ago, after 8 days of 4 rounds of ADF, bringing myself back down to 152, losing almost 18 pounds. But you'll see here, if you look at what I weighed in today, I weighed in at 152.8 pounds. So even though I've completed 5 rounds of ADF, and every ADF, my weight has been pushing itself down, this time I'm up a little bit. I'm up about 0.8 pounds instead of losing weight this time. And that's the thing, right? What happened there? Like you'll see here in the notes, 5 rounds of ADF with an average fast of almost 44 hours every single time. It only makes sense to have lost weight again this time around. Why? Well, let's maybe look into that, right? If you see here, after every single round of ADF, the very first round of ADF, I lost almost 8 pounds. The second round of ADF, 6 pounds. The third round, 2 pounds. The fourth round, another almost 2 pounds. And then most recently, I gained 0.8 pounds. Overall, I'm still losing round after round about 3.5 pounds. That number will become less and less as time goes on because I'm not going to be losing as much weight every single time. But I guess here's the thing. When I weighed in this morning and I saw the weight go up, I was a little confused. I was like, why is the weight up? Nothing has really changed. I have been performing ADFs. I have been going for my walks. I have been lifting weights. Everything is as routine as it should be. So I thought about it. Could it be water weight? Definitely. Could it be because I still have waste and I haven't gone to the bathroom as much as my body is still holding whatever I ate 2 days ago? Maybe, possibly. Maybe it was because I ate more carbs on my last refeed than the one previous. Maybe it was because I ate more calories overall and I didn't track it correctly. But I don't really know about that. I kind of doubt that. Maybe it could be additional muscle. Maybe the scale was just off and wasn't showing what it needed to show. But here's the thing, as frustrating as that is, as frustrating as it is to see the weight push up a tad, is that going to deter me from doing what I should be doing? When I stepped on the scale this morning, did I tell myself, well, fuck, I'm up zero point 0.8 pounds. What's the point of going for my walk this morning? What's the point of continuing to fast? Because nothing is going to work. The weight has gone up. You all know that that's not the way to handle these things. It's a blip. The scale is going to do what it's going to do, but I know in my heart of hearts that what I do works. Eating 0 calories and fasting, doing ADF is going to eventually push the weight on the scale down no matter what. I say this as a reminder to all of you. Don't let that scale deter you from what you know works. You know, if you put no calories in you for over 24 hours, you're going to be putting yourself at a deficit. You are going to lose fat off of your body. Again, showing you these numbers here, ADF after ADF after ADF after ADF. I lost weight, I lost weight, I lost weight. And then all of a sudden pushing up a little weight. Yes, again, frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to say, well, fuck it. Let's start over. Let's just binge today because what's the point? Because this doesn't work anyway. That's ridiculous thinking. That isn't how we should be thinking when it comes to this. The number on the scale doesn't mean everything. It isn't the be all end all. I know that even though I'm 152.8 today and I was 152 2 days ago, doesn't change the fact that I put in so much work to get to where I'm at today. And hopefully 2 days from now, after I complete another round of ADF, that weight will continue to push itself down and I will find myself into the 140s. Because trust me, when I stepped on the scale this morning, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll be in like 150 something or 151. Maybe I'll break into the 140s again that I haven't seen in a while. So yes, obviously frustrating, annoying to see, but I can't control what the scale shows me. I know that what I'm doing is benefiting me. I know I'm putting myself at a caloric deficit doing ADF. I know I'm going for my walks. I know I'm lifting weights every other day after a good refeed. And I just have to keep pushing on the plan. Adrian says or asks, hi, Jerome, having done rolling fasts with unlimited refeeds and ADF with restricted calorie refeeds, what fasting method do you find best for effective weight loss and overall health? So many people ask me this question, and maybe you've heard me say this, Adrian, because I've seen you in here. I appreciate the support. You have to play this in two separate ways. So the benefit of fasting, as long as I did previously, doing 90-hour fasts and eating whatever I wanted, the benefit there is obvious in terms of the refeed. It is a glorious feeling to eat whatever you want and feel no guilt doing it while still being able to continue to lose weight. The hard part about that for many people that I have noticed is that continuing another fast for that long is not always easy for many people. Now, if you look at the other side of things about what I'm currently doing, eating every other day, eating about 3,000 calories, limiting my calories by over 50%. Number one, the pro about that is it's nice to eat every other day. It's nice to have energy to go to the gym and lift weights every other day. But the con about that is I can't eat anything I want whenever I want or during my refeed times. I still have to count calories and be very mindful about what I'm eating. If you're talking about effective weight loss, I think the most effective way you're going to lose weight is if you're going to fast and put nothing in you for an extended period of time, you're going to lose a ton of weight on the scale. You're going to lose fat. I mean, I think that's just very obvious. And then when it's time to refeed, if you keep yourself at, if you are a lot more mindful in terms of your refeeds, then the more power to you, right? That weight on the scale is going to keep pushing itself down. So, effective weight loss, yeah, you're going to get more effective weight loss the longer you fast. You might have to compromise a few things. Fasting for a longer period of time for many people will invoke things like feeling tired, feeling a lot more weak, not being able to go to the gym and lift as heavy as you normally do. There might be some associated muscle loss when it comes to that, especially if you don't find yourself at the gym at all using your body to lift any kind of weights. Now, if you look at it on the other side of things, though, when it comes to health, when I think of the mental part of it, fasting for 90 hours plus over and over and over, like what I did for 5 months, is not for everyone. And that can take a big mental toll on people. It can take a huge toll on people, especially when they fast for that long, they eat whatever they want, and then they realize they have to fast for that long again. So I think the answer to this is it depends. I think my advice to people at this point is push a long fast if you can. If you want to push another long fast afterwards, be my guest. But if you can't and you have to supplement a shorter fast, maybe a 36-hour, maybe an OMAD, maybe a 16-8 just for a couple of days, maybe that's the plan in the meantime while you continue to work on your other levers of weight loss, controlling what you eat, how you exercise, taking care of yourself when it comes to making sure you're getting enough of sleep, many things like that. So hopefully that is helpful in that way, Adrian. Okay, let's continue on here. And like I just said, it's more than just fasting. A lot of this, a lot of what I'm doing is combined with how long I refeed for, being mindful about how I eat. And if you see here, you'll notice that I'm no longer eating 5, 6, 7,000 calories per refeed. My average refeed, calories per refeed right now is about 2,600. My average refeed time is around 3.5 hours. And the protein I have per refeed is almost 200 grams per refeed. These are the last 4 refeeds that I've had. Again, it isn't just about fasting. I am very mindful about making sure I don't keep my refeed window that long, because when I keep my refeed window that long, I end up grazing and snacking for the day. Being able to keep my window short allows me to eat whatever I want to an extent. Obviously, I am limiting my calories. I am being a lot more mindful in the choices that I make. If you watched yesterday's live stream, you can see what I ate exactly during my refeeds. I eat a lot of lower calorie, high volume foods. I'll still eat high calorie, high fat foods as well. I like to mix it up, but I want to make sure that if I'm only giving myself about 3,000 calories per refeed, that I am going to give myself a lot of volume, because that's what gives me a lot more satiety. That's what gives me a lot of fullness. Carlo Williams asks, so hard to get back to fasting. 5 back-to-back eating days. Committing to not eat today. Root for me, please. So not really a question, but there is a question at the end. Definitely root for you, Carlo. I'm sure other people here will be rooting for you as well. I appreciate all of you, even just sharing where you're at and what you're doing. Hopefully, people who are in the chat, who are in here reading each other's comments, help each other. This is what this is supposed to be for. I'm literally here doing this because I need to show accountability. You hopefully are doing the same. Help each other out. Be there for each other. Work together. Show accountability in that way. I'm literally doing this every day right now so you all can work together and get to your goals. If you're watching this right now, if you've been here every day because this is helpful for you, I love that for you. I love that I can provide that for you. Take advantage of asking me questions. Take advantage of working with the community here about trying to keep pushing on your journey. Shelly asks, hi, Jerome, how can you prevent hair loss while doing extended fasting? And how can we prevent loose skin? Shelly, as far as preventing hair loss or loose skin, I mean, for me, I don't take anything in particular. I don't take additional supplements. I don't. So those things I can't really answer. Maybe somebody can help here in the chat. I know there are things that people take to help with hair, to help with, I don't know what people take when it comes to making sure they don't get hair loss. It's not something that I've experienced. And I've been doing this for a while. And even though I do have hair thinning, that's been something that I've had an issue with even prior to going on or practicing a fasting regimen. I think it's also the fact that I'm 44 years old and it's just part of life for me. When you talk about preventing loose skin, there's only so much I think that you can do as well. I really don't think there is a ton that you can do. I know there are things that can help. I'm not saying that it is completely right, like too bad, so sad. But I also think for me, I used to weigh 100 pounds more, and I've lost the weight and I've gained the weight and I've lost the weight and I've gained the weight over decades. I'm 44 years old and there's only so much I can do. The only thing that I have been doing for myself in terms of loose skin is I lift weights. I keep thinking if I can build muscle and help show a little more fullness, that might be beneficial for me. It's one of the reasons I talk about how I have loose skin here on my upper arms, right? I have loose skin here on my neck. This is something that I can't really do much about. I don't know if that can ever get better over time, but regardless, that's not going to change my goals of being happy and healthy. But when I talk about loose skin on my upper arms, like I feel like this, I don't know if it's gotten better, but it's one of the reasons I lift weights, because I feel like it'll help, tighten the skin. But I don't take anything else. There's nothing I do for my hair or skin to help with those kinds of things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. Honestly, I should do a lot more research in taking care of my skin and my hair. It's just not something that I really prioritize at the moment, but I should, especially being 44. People always tell me you shouldn't walk outside so much in the sun, but I do. I mean, it's one of the reasons I have, like, look at that tan. That's because I'm out in the sun a lot. And actually, that's one of the reasons that's one of the reasons I've been waking up at 5:30 in the morning lately, or 5ish in the morning, because it really helps me on my walks. It's a lot cooler and the sun isn't pounding as hard. Sorry, just looking at my notes, seeing what's seeing what's next here. So let's also talk about what my fasted refeed weights have been. Again, there's a lot of nerd stats here. I will most likely provide these every single day during these daily lives, maybe not so much on Sundays, but this is a way for me to, again, keep accountable. So if you look at what my weight has been after a refeed, you'll notice here that almost after every refeed, my weight goes up, obviously, because I'm eating a ton of food. The only time I actually lost weight after a refeed was after my first refeed coming off of a binge. And I think this was just the case because I binged for 2 days in a row and I ate so much food that I was going to lose weight because of all that weight or all the water weight I had gained then. But if you look here in the last 5 refeeds, yes, I do gain weight. I gain about 2.2 pounds or 1 kilo after every refeed. And I show that because I want you to understand that gaining weight on the scale after a refeed is a normal thing. It will eventually push itself down. Don't worry so much about what the scale says. Even like I said earlier today, I gained weight after completing or after doing this 5th round of ADF. I gained 0.8 pounds, almost a pound. Was I frustrated? Sure. Was I annoyed? Sure. Did I expect the weight to go down again a 5th time? Of course I did. But I can't control what the scale says. It isn't going to change what I'm doing. I'm not going to let it deter me from going for my walk, continue fasting. Instead, I keep pushing on the course, right? I keep practicing imperfect consistency. And even as I talk about the other things that are important to me, it's more than just fasting. I showed you what my eating is like, tracking my protein, keeping that a priority. But a big part of what I do too are my steps every day. Ever since I binged, I have been recording my steps on a daily basis. My daily step average since the 23rd of July is about 17,600. And that's including strength training every other day. Now, this doesn't mean that you should be stepping as much as I do. This doesn't mean that you should be fasting the way that I do or eating the way that I do. I have tailored this, customed it so that it works for me. Why do I walk so much every day? I enjoy walking. I do it every morning. It's therapeutic for me. I also do it while I practice my Japanese and my Tagalog. I've been learning to do, or I have been learning to speak other languages. So that's usually where I take my time doing it. Walking isn't stressful for me. It isn't taxing on my body. I don't power walk. I don't jog. I don't run. I just go for a leisurely walk here in Chicago, and I love doing it every single day. I do try to give myself a day off once a week, but sometimes, even today was supposed to be my day off, and I think I'm already at like 11,000 steps. And it's just because I've tried to do my language learning at home and just sitting here, but like there's something about just doing it while I'm walking where I zone out. And sometimes I'm by the lake, sometimes I'm walking by just a random part of the city. And it's just it's just enjoyable for me. It's therapeutic. And when I'm done, I get back in here, I take a shower, and then I start doing the shit I need to do for the day. So did I pretty much point out everything? The only thing that's missing on here is I have not been tracking my sleep, and it is something that should be really important to me. It is something I used to track before, but I haven't lately. I used to wear a Whoop. Do you know those Whoops? I think I have it right here. Yeah. These, I have a Whoop, and this usually will track my sleep, but I don't know. It's been uncomfortable lately wearing it. And so I've been wearing my Apple Watch again, and I just wear my Apple Watch to track my steps. I don't use it to track my sleep, but I know sleep's really important. It's something that I want to continue tracking again. I want to make sure I get around 7 hours of sleep a night. And that isn't always the case. Remember, you have to do all of these things if you want an optimal, healthy life. If I just sat here and I told you to just fast and nothing else matters, I would be doing a disservice. If I told you that you only have to watch your calories and only eat this way, and let's get one thing straight here too. One thing that really annoys the shit out of me is when people tell me how I should eat and only eat this and only listen. I'm not perfect. If you think you're going to tell me how I should eat and what I should do, listen, I've tried it. The only thing that works for me is practicing imperfect consistency. To know that when I go out with friends, I'm going to eat what I want. If I'm going to a party and people are drinking, I'm going to drink because I enjoy doing that. I practice an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, I'm doing the shit I should be doing. The other 20% of the time, I'm not as diligent. I'm not as strict about what I'm doing. And why? Why do I do that? Because it's helpful for the mental part of me. Again, all of this shit, losing weight is super easy on paper. On paper, we can all do it. We all know what we have to do. If you don't eat, you're going to lose weight. If you cut your calories back, you're going to lose weight. If you work out and lift weights and do cardio, you're going to be healthier. You're going to improve your cardio health. You're going to gain muscle. You're going to lose weight. All of that is easy as shit on paper. But the hard part is putting it into practice. And when people put it into practice in real life, they realize that life is not going to be perfect. This is where imperfect consistency plays a big role. Knowing that you don't have to practice the all or nothing type of mentality. I'm going to do everything right now. I'm going to show you, Jerome. I'm going to fast for X amount of time and everything's going to be perfect. And I'm not going to, when I do eat, it's going to be this perfect kind of way. I'm going to make sure I get all my steps in. What kind of life is that? Is that an actual sustainable kind of life that you can do on a consistent basis? The one thing that I promote here than anything else is finding what your journey looks like, is giving yourself grace when you need it, is practicing imperfect consistency, knowing that you're not going to be perfect. I talk to you here right now, letting you know I'm not perfect. I will have loose skin. I'm not going to have most likely a six pack because there's probably a ton of loose skin on my lower belly. I'm not always going to eat perfect. I'm not always going to sleep perfect. But you know what I can do is show up every day and be accountable, is to realize that when I fuck up, when I overeat, if I end up binging, that it isn't the end of the world, that I can still show up for myself, that I can still practice other things outside of just fasting or eating perfectly. The one thing I've realized when I overeat is it gives me a ton of fuel to lift weights. Usually on the days I overeat, I get to push a lot harder at the gym. I take advantage of it that way. I might as well use it in some type of way if I decide that I'm just going to eat like garbage for the next day or two. Imperfect consistency, there's nothing better than that. There really isn't. Sticking to one specific thing, telling yourself this is the only way to eat and I will never, ever, ever, ever do this again. I mean, more power to you if you can. But the reality is, if I get invited this weekend to a bar and I really want to go, you're fucking kidding me if I tell you I'm not going to go grab a drink and have a beer or drink some whiskey with some people I'm close with and enjoy my time. If I go to the Cheesecake Factory for lunch or dinner and you tell me that I can't have a slice of cheesecake, fuck you. All I'm saying, right, is Our lives are, we're human, we're imperfect, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I will continue to show all of you that even though I am imperfect, I mean, look at yesterday on my refeed. I showed you those digestive cookies I ate, and I ended up eating 8 of them. I didn't want to eat 8 of them. I shouldn't have had 8 of them. I should have had 2 of them and been okay with it. But that doesn't change anything. That isn't going to deter me from what I'm doing. My weight pushed up this morning. That isn't changing anything. I'm here. I'm being accountable. I'm showing up. I'm practicing imperfect consistency. As we kind of look at the calories here, this is the one thing that helps me as well when I think about the weight on the scale, is that I know that I am putting myself at such a huge caloric deficit that it doesn't matter what the scale says. I am going to lose fat off of me. I'm going to continue lifting heavy at the gym and building muscle because that is the aesthetic that I'm looking for. In the last 9 days, I have eaten about 10,370 calories. I have expended about 20,700 calories, which leaves me with a deficit of 10,330 calories or about 3 pounds of fat. Why does this matter? Because in the last 9 days, if I've lost about 3 pounds of fat, even though the scale says I've lost about 17 pounds, you can do the math there. Yeah, I lost 17 pounds off of the scale, but in reality, I lost about 3 pounds of fat. What makes more of a difference? The number on the scale or knowing that you actually put yourself in a deficit, that you've lost body fat off of your body, excess body fat off of your body? That's why the number on the scale isn't going to deter me, because I know what I'm doing works. Sometimes many of us get a little anxious about going to the gym and lifting weights because, and I say this from personal experience. Sometimes at the beginning, I didn't want to lift heavy because I was afraid if I put on muscle, then the weight is going to get jacked up. And like that kind of thinking is just such broken thinking. You know that going to the gym and strength training is beneficial. The more muscle you have on your body, that means the more your metabolic rate rises, which pretty much means the more muscle you put on your body, the more your body burns calories at rest doing absolutely nothing. That gives you the benefit of eating more because your body just burns more at the same time. I like to do it also because aesthetically, I want to have wider shoulders and bigger arms and a bigger chest. That's more of a vanity thing. That's more of a vanity thing, but I like it in that way. I also just like lifting weights. I find that a lot more fun than, I don't know, doing some other kind of high intensity cardio training. I didn't get here through perfection. I have just practiced imperfect consistency to find and achieve my goals. Even if you've watched me from the very beginning, some of you might be watching this and you might be saying, but Jerome, you were pretty much perfect when you did your 90-hour fasts and you refed for whatever. Is that true though? Even if I did fast for 90 hours over and over and over, was eating 6,000, 7,000 calories and giving myself zero restrictions whatsoever, is that perfect? I don't regret anything I've done. I just know that at the time, that's what worked for me. At the time, that was my intent. I had the motivation. I pushed through that goal. I also realized that over time, it wasn't going to last forever, which is why I had to evolve the way I fasted, which is why I've had to evolve the way I've eaten, which is why I've continued to evolve the way I perform cardio and lift weights, because this journey is never ending. This journey is always changing. This is also why I tell people, do not stick to one specific thing and say, this is what defines me. Because when you start doing things like that, and then you realize that there are other tools you might use that might be beneficial to you, then you look stupid. Keep an open mind. See what else is out there. Doesn't mean that you have to adhere to it and that's the only thing that matters. Fasting is obviously what my channel is based on. It is such an important tool for me, but I also realize that it isn't the only tool that works. There are so many other things that make a difference in what I'm doing to be where I'm at today. I think the only slide I have left here is I'm refeeding tonight after I finish I've already technically finished my 5th round of ADF. So my goal tonight is the same after every refeed, to keep the calories under 3,000 and keep the protein over 190 grams. Now, why less than 3,000 calories? That's just me trying to limit my calories. I eat every other day, meaning that in 2 days, my body burns about 4,600 calories, maybe more, maybe less, depending on my activity. And if I eat 3,000 calories or keep it under 3,000, I continue to put myself in a caloric deficit. Now, remember, these numbers are not exact. It doesn't mean I'm going to lose exactly this much weight. These are just rough estimates. That is the best that I can do with what I work with. And I use the scale as a guiding tool, but I also look at the way I fit into my clothes as a tool, right? That is, for me, I feel like the bigger indicator of, am I going the right way? Are my clothes fitting better? Do I feel less bloated? Are my arms getting bigger? Do they feel more muscular? Is there less fat on me? Those are the things that matter versus what a number on the scale says. The reason I try to do at least 190 grams of protein is because I know protein provides more satiety. I know that protein gives you a bigger thermic effect, meaning that your body burns more calories digesting protein than carbs or fat. And it doesn't mean that you should be doing 3,000 calories every other day or 190 grams of protein. If that's something that you're wondering about and trying to find what that number might be like for you, that's something that you can find out through a TDEE calculator. That's something that you and I can maybe talk about in the future. I guess at this point, I'll say this. If you have questions, feel free to ask them now. I'll answer what I can if there are any other questions. But in the meantime, as you're asking questions, if you have any, if you are looking for help when it comes to fasting, when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to accountability, and when I talk about accountability, I'm talking about, hey, if you are somebody that struggles because you are just cycling, doing this over and over, starting over every single day, maybe it's time to hold yourself accountable with somebody else. Maybe it's someone here in the community, in the chat, or maybe it's talking with me. If you go to finallyfasting.com, you can book a one-on-one session with me. We can have a conversation. We can talk about a strategy and a plan. We can talk about if you have any emotional triggers when it comes to eating, if you have issues when it comes to binge eating. My goal is to just help people however I can. That's why I sit here and I answer questions in chat if people have them. That's why I try to give as honest of an answer as I can based on my own personal experience. If you do want to help out, you can also go to finallyfasting.com. I do offer merch there. I offer stickers and hats. I'm not going to go through all of that right now because I don't want to keep doing that every single day. But I appreciate any support when it comes to that. Also, it looks like there aren't any other questions here, but I do appreciate the kind comments from everyone. Honestly, I think that's probably it for today. I shared my accountability. I entertained answering any questions if there were any. Carlos says, "Are you taking your Ninja Creamy with you?" I'm not. There's only so much that I can carry when I move to the Philippines, so I'm packing pretty light. So no, I won't. And honestly, actually, I haven't had a creamy in a while. Oh my god, that's right. Aisha said no fit check today. No, of course we're doing fit check. How can I not finish this without fit check? If any of you are wondering what fit check is when I stand back here and I show you what I look like physically for transparency's sake. I have had a lot of trouble showing fit check last Sunday because I had gained so much weight. I have continued to lose weight since, and I have been feeling a lot better. Um, Actually had this picture earlier that accidentally shot up first, but this picture is of me at probably one of my heaviest. I was probably 200 and my guess is around 235 pounds here. I used to wear a size 38 waist. I used to wear an XL or double XL shirt. And if you might be thinking to yourself, but I wear a 38 waist, I wear an XL or double XL shirt. Ask yourself, are you 5'3"? So I'm a short guy and I had to wear clothes that big because nothing fit me properly. Today, as we're talking right now, I am currently wearing, this is a size extra large boy shirt, which is great because I haven't been able to wear a shirt like this in about a week because of all the weight I had gained from my past two binges. Now, I'm still in the low 150s. I'm not in the 140s where I want to be. And honestly, I would love to see myself in the 130s, but I feel like I have, after doing 5 rounds of ADF, I feel pretty good with where I'm at now. So we'll do fit check real quick. Just move this out of the way. Again, this is a size extra large boy shirt. These are extra small shorts. Side shot here. Rear. Side again. And you can see, right? I still have fat right here. I mean, I'm literally grabbing at it, right? Like fat here. I mean, this is a combination of like fat and loose skin, right? I'm not the happiest with it, but and the thing is when I wear white, it's a lot more, you can see it a lot more. I do wear a compression shirt underneath. But my hope is, right, as I push myself down in weight to 140, 135, like my goal is to just get the rest of this fat off of me. Whatever number that looks like, we'll see. Before I move out of the country, I will be getting another DEXA scan so that I have a good idea of where my fat percentage is. The last time I did a DEXA scan was back in November 6th, and they had got me right at like 19.9% body fat, or maybe right at 20%. I weighed in at 145. So think about that. This was back in November. I weighed in at 145 pounds. They had me at 111 pounds of lean tissue. So my hope is when I get another DEXA scan, I'll be at more than 111 pounds of lean tissue. My hope is I'll have more muscle on me. I'll have less body fat on me. But like I said, right, as I showed you earlier, as I grabbed my belly there, I'm not perfect. I don't know if I'll ever be perfect. I know even if I get the rest of this fat off of me, I'm going to have loose skin. There's probably only so much I can do about that. Is that going to stop me from working on myself? Absolutely not. I mean, think about this too. I'm 44 years old. I'm going to be 45 at the end of this year. There are a lot of people who are probably in their 40s who are like, what does it matter? You know what? I don't want to think that way. I also realize that it isn't just about the way I look. Like, obviously, it's nice to have an aesthetic look, but I also realize that my health is important. I want to make sure that when I go to the doctor and I get my blood work done, that everything is looking good, that those things are still really important to me. It isn't just about, oh, well, you know what? You're past your 20s, so what does it matter? It matters a lot. I don't want to have complications as I get older. I have said this to people I've coached. I've probably said it to people here before, but my dad was a type 2 diabetic, just like I'm a type 2 diabetic. Luckily, I've been able to reverse that just through fasting and eating well and exercising. But my dad had a heart attack and a stroke, and my dad had Parkinson's the last couple of years of his life. And it was an awful thing to see. And I wouldn't wish anything like that upon anyone. And it makes me realize how important my health is and taking care of myself and realizing that I don't ever want to be put in that situation where I can't take care of myself. Also, just even if I could take care of myself, the quality of life is not the same. And I don't want to, hopefully, ever get to that point. Or if anything, push it as far down the road as I can. That's why I tell people here, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't start over. Don't keep putting yourself in this vicious cycle, right? Practice imperfect consistency. We all have the same goal, is to be happy and healthy. And hopefully you can do this with me. Okay. I think that's it for today. We'll do this again tomorrow. We'll do another daily live stream, even on a Saturday. I don't know if it's going to be around the same time, but thank you all for stopping by today. Thank you for all the support in the chat, talking to each other. If you enjoy being here, please stop by again tomorrow. I'll try to maybe do it around the same time, but if not, if you see me on, come by, say hi, show accountability, keep showing up for yourself, practice imperfect consistency. All right, everyone. I'll see you soon. Take care.